So, Jonathan, do you use Uber or Lyft a lot?
I use Lyft. I do not use Uber.
Okay. Do you have any crazy rideshare stories over the years?
So many.
Yeah?
I have.
So many.
I have so many. The reason I use Lyft and not Uber is because Uber won't let me use them, because when I try to book a ride with Uber, it says restaurants are not allowed to book rides.
But you're Jonathan.
I know.
You're not.
I know.
You're not. Oh, is it your chicken cone
No,
account?
it's not, because it happened much later than that. And I've tried, but if you ever try to call Uber or something like
It's
that,
got to be super easy. The customer service has to be on point.
They don't have a
They
phone.
pick up
They don't
right-
even have a phone.
They don't have a phone.
No, they don't even have a phone. So like it's
wow.
like almost this impossibility. But I'll run through some really quick. Okay.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
One time they kept canceling on me, the Lyft drivers, before they were even picking me up. So I called this guy and I was like, "You're not going to cancel on me, right?" And he's like, No way, man, no way. So finally he pulls up. I get in his car. We take off. We drive maybe 10 minutes, and he's like, "You got to get out." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You got to get out." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "I got another ride." And I was like, "So?" And he's like, "No, I'm telling you, my app just kicked you out, and you got to get another ride." And it showed on my app, when I pulled up my Lyft app, it said searching for another driver. Like, it wasn't him that did it to me. It just happened. So I had to get out on the side of the road and wait for another driver to come pick me up.
But why would he do that? Why wouldn't he just take you to where?
I was going to an airport, so it was probably still a long way away. I don't know why it happened. It was just like a problem with their app. I got in.
That's a problem.
I got in one time, and the guy did not look anything like the person's picture that it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For better or worse?
Look wise?
Yeah, it was scary.
I don't want to. I don't want to get into it whether it was a better or worse looking
Okay.
picture,
Okay.
but I will say
Played it safe today
it was
on the podcast.
Yes, it was completely obvious that they were not the same people.
Okay.
And I asked him about it, and he just kept repeating. I don't remember the guy's name now, but he just kept repeating, "I'm Joe. I'm Joe." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So
you went with it.
I went with it. Yeah.
And
so
you made it.
Yeah, I made it there. And my thought was, like, I sat directly behind him at that point. Like, I scooted over the seat behind him, and my thought was, like, he's a lot smaller than I am.
Yeah.
I'm behind him. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, I can reach around and choke
Jonathan,
him out.
you know
if
there's
happening.
things called there's weapons, there's guns.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
just because you're
That's true. But I wasn't
a
thinking
big,
of that.
strong
I was just
guy.
thinking I could get, like, if something came up, like, I could reach around the thing and I could choke him out really quick, and then grab the wheel, and like get his part.
yeah,
But anyway,
I would have been out. I would have been out of there.
I probably
that
should've
one
been.
would have creeped me out. Yeah, next time don't do that.
I probably should have been. I had a guy trying to download him, kept dropping his phone, and I was like, "Do you need help?" And he was like, "No, I'm just trying to download a movie to watch."
Wow.
Yeah. So we watched
Yeah, what'd you watch?
Babe. We watched Babe.
Stop.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Stop. You watched Babe. He was downloading Babe,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie about the pig who wants to be a sheepdog.
Yeah.
Oh man, the only thing more ridiculous about an Uber driver downloading a movie inside the automobile is him downloading Babe.
Yeah. It was really ridiculous, but it's a good. Like, I got into it, man. I was.
Wonderful film.
Yeah. I got into
Wonderful
it.
film, but I was not expecting you.
My
saying
daughter,
that.
one time I hired a guy off book who was like, I used to call him Uber. That wasn't his name. I don't remember his name, but
What could go wrong?
He was my Lyft driver one
Yeah.
time, and then I switched, and I was like, "Hey, could I just pay you?" Because he lived by me actually, and he was like, "Sure." And so I would text him. I'd be like, "Hey, Uber," just to be funny. So I hired him to take my daughter on a trip one time, and afterwards I asked her, "How was it?" And she's like, "It was fine." She goes, "It was just kind of weird because he asked me, how was your day?" And I said, "Fine. How was your day?" And he said, "Fine. I just met a guy at the bar for a couple drinks before this." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, so he's driving drunk?" And she's like, "Well, I think so."
Oh man, golly,
Yeah.
that's a litany of awful.
But
Rideshare
I
stories.
traveled so much that
Yeah.
I was in a rideshare almost every day.
Every day,
you know.
okay, yeah.
How about you?
Oh, nothing can top that. I mean, I've been, in the stories everybody has of the drivers driving crazy for
Or
like
smelling
on a roller
terrible.
coaster. No, I don't get those. I normally have really pleasant smelling Uber drivers, but just sometimes you're in the back seat going, "Get me out of here as quickly as humanly possible."
Yeah.
You're scared for your life. But you've got go ahead.
Well, one time I was in St. Pete,
Okay.
and I had a Lyft driver there, and he started talking to me at first, and everything seemed normal. He seemed like this nice older guy.
Yeah.
And then he asked me what I did, and I told him that I ran a franchise, and so we got into a little more conversation. He's like, I think God put you in my car today. And I was like, really? Why? And he's like, I have this gold that I need to get, but I need $29,000 to get it. But it's $4 million worth of gold. And then he had this whole crazy story about, and he handed me a piece of paper with like all of these like drawings and writings and all, like a pamphlet. He handed me a pamphlet of like how I could help him, and if I gave him $10,000 of the $29,000 he needed, I could have that percentage of the gold. And
wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't do this? You didn't invest in his endeavor?
No.
But wait a second, Jonathan. God told him.
I know. God put me in the car for a reason.
Isn't that the best when people say God told me?
Yeah.
Because you can't argue with him after that, right? That's
how do you?
Trump, the God of the universe, the maker of heaven and of earth.
Yeah.
The one in complete control of the cosmos has told me this thing.
Yes. And has brought you here in this moment.
Yeah. Who are you? Are you argue with him? You argue with God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So it's the summer. We said at the outset of the summer, we're going to have lighter shows. We're going to have some different themes. We've been going through some altruistic ideas, maybe not the biggest money makers. We've done good, bad ideas. I think we've done some bad ideas recordings. I think you've got an altruistic idea today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's around this idea of ride sharing. So hit us with the problem and the solution.
So the problem is my daughter lives in Manhattan, New York, not Manhattan, Kansas. And she works at this restaurant, and they get off like at 2 a.m. And a lot of times the subway systems are shut down then, and they've got to figure out a way to get home. Or even if they're not shut down then, like it's just not necessarily the safest environment for a 21-year-old girl to be headed home at 2 a.m. And so Uber's really expensive. They do price surge, and so it'd be like $40 for her to go from where she works to her apartment. Sometimes they would split it with another girl, sometimes not. But even that's a pain because then they have to Venmo each other. There's just all of this stuff. I think there should be a service for, and I don't know if it's put on by the city or if it's just how exactly it works, but a service that is picks people up who work late at night, who get off at these dangerous times, and drops them off at their home. Maybe it's like an ex-security guard. They walk them from the restaurant to their car, and then from the car to their apartment. But that's basically the service. It is a Uber, but a super safe Uber.
Great. Gut reaction? I like this idea because the problem's real.
The problem is real.
The problem is it's like everybody understands what that problem is.
Mm-hmm.
How is she currently solving the problem? Is she currently getting expensive Ubers and having to split them? Is that the extent of it? Because what other option does she have?
There's that. There's taxi. She's walked home one time.
And the problem is like she's creating value to the community, to this to this industry.
Yeah.
An industry that doesn't have the ability to pay a ton of money to people that can afford these $40, $50 rides. And so they're kind of caught in this situation where they have to pay it.
Yeah.
Or what? What's the alternative? It's scary. The alternative is scary.
Yeah.
So that problem to me is super compelling. So my gut reaction is I really like this idea.
I even think though, like in a smaller city, and it doesn't even have to be a big city, but like just people that work late, like even walking from their restaurant to their car, that's not necessarily a safe situation. Walking from the restaurant to their car, getting followed home, walking home, like all of those late night things, there is a lot of predatory opportunities for predatory encounters.
Yeah.
When you work
and
late
as a
at
dad,
night.
that's got to be terrifying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a scary thing for a dad.
Absolutely.
So you came up with this idea when your daughter's in Manhattan. That's how you came up with it, just hearing her talk about the pain point that this is, or did it happen in another way?
No, that, but also here in South Florida, there's this thing called circuit. Mm-hmm. And so like Fort Lauderdale has a circuit.
Yeah.
Wilton Manors has a circuit. Lauderdale Beach, it doesn't matter. There's a bunch of different towns that have circuits, and basically they're free electric vehicles that you download the app, and I can book a ride anywhere in Fort Lauderdale, anywhere in Wilton Manors, anywhere in Oakland Park, if I have that circuit. And it's something that the city is paying for rather than buses in these smaller towns. They're paying for the circuit drivers, and I think if you can do that, like, so between thinking through a city providing this free service for people who want to go get drunk at the bar and get home.
Correct.
What about the person who's working at the bar and wants to get home without getting kidnapped or raped, you know?
Well, would this service work for her too?
Why not? Like, why couldn't it extend into like something longer and later than it is currently?
Because the question I would have for something like circuit is, I don't know what the hours are on it. Does it go into the wee hours, into the danger zone?
No,
probably not, right? It's
no.
probably more for the person going to and from the restaurant, to and from the beach down here. I doubt they're
not at 2 a.m.
At
no.
2 a.m.
No.
And that's really what you need.
Yes.
You need that 11 p.m., really probably 10, right? Let's talk about model a little bit. 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. is really where this service is needed.
Correct.
Currently, I'm not aware that it exists anywhere.
Me either.
What's the monetary model here? Is this a for-profit company? Is this a not-for-profit company? Is this funded by the city? Are we going after grants to fund this?
So I could see two ways of doing it. I could see the nonprofit, you know, where you're just out there to do good, and you care a lot about getting people home. I could also see it being where a city government agency pays for it. So like they pay for the circuit, or Bird, or one of those other like little electric vehicle things that comes into a town, like something in that way where it's very, very, if there is a charge, it's very minimal, $1.50, $2 or something like that for a ride, but a very low charge, very low barrier to entry, and either, like I said, nonprofit or the city is. It's public utilities.
I wonder if, I mean, you're a restaurateur, so you can answer this question, but is there any ownership the restaurant should take, or the hospitality industry should take on this? I know we're putting emphasis on the city as a possible revenue driver, but if you hire somebody and you're sending them out in the wee hours back home, is there any part of you as a restaurateur that feels any obligation?
Oh, yeah, obligation for sure.
To participate?
I think obligation, yes. I think that it is something that could differentiate you in the hiring process.
100%.
The liability questions would be enormous. That's what I would be.
What do you mean? We'll talk about
so this driver, now you're taking on the liability of if he gets in a car accident, if he does something stupid. There's a lot.
Yeah, but you could just reimburse. You know, let the individual make the decision about how they're going to get home, and reimburse.
Oh, you're talking about reimbursing for this safe ride is what you're talking about.
Yeah, so if there's a cost to it.
Yeah.
There's a cost to it. I wonder if the restaurants.
I thought you were talking. I was picturing more of like a little transit thing that they took people back to and fro.
No, I'm not sure who operates it yet. We haven't talked about that, have we yet?
No.
Who actually operates it? But my only point is, I wonder if the restaurants need to participate financially in pulling this off, whether that's reimbursing the employees who are using it, or, I mean, you know, heck, when you open up a restaurant, you're paying all different kinds of taxes and fees. City impact fees are part of it, right? I'm sure you're familiar with those. Is that an impact fee? You know, for opening up a restaurant is, okay, well, how are you, the city's going to be asking the question, how are these employees going to be getting home in a safe manner? Would that not fall under an impact fee for a restaurant?
Yeah. I almost wonder if there's even a way to create like almost a rideshare program that restaurants all pay into.
Yeah.
And you negotiate lower rates for these rides through a service like Lyft or Uber, and then they're giving a portion of it away, so it's like a nonprofit play on their part. I don't know.
I like the nonprofit play on this one. Yeah. I think that feels right, because this is really birthed out of a need to meet something very physical, very practical.
Yeah.
It's more of a safety thing, and I think monetizing this in a for-profit environment might not be the best play.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you see it as a for-profit, or do you not care?
I don't care. I just want it to exist.
You just want it to exist. Okay, can I do a yeah but?
Yeah.
Now you're creating an environment that is known as, we take care of the unsafe hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that going to attract predators to be a part of it?
Probably. I think
like, how do you keep the predators from being the drivers of this this thing? Like, have you thought about, like, your daughter, she's getting in the car. Who's she getting in the car with? Why is this option better than an Uber driver? Or is the only thing you're trying to solve for is making it more affordable than an Uber driver?
No, I think there's two things here. Like, I definitely think, one, it needs to be more affordable or free. And then two, as far as the driver's concerned, I think you're looking for something different. Like, Uber doesn't do a ton of background on people. They just want to make sure you don't have
Correct.
major problems. But I think I think these drivers would need to go through.
They want to make sure you're a movie lover.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They want to make sure that you like movies and that, the best places to drink before work.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you would definitely want these people, maybe they're security guards, different places like that, but you'd want them to have some sort of background in that. And also just where you're looking through and making sure that they're like the right kind of person, because I would want them to greet at the door and walk them from the door to the car, greet from the car to the door.
You want
door to door service.
You want some soft skills included here, right?
Yes.
Not just somebody who's got a face and can drive a car. You want somebody who's kind, who's warm, who's a little bit of a big
old
brother,
people,
big sister.
Why? Well, of course, how many old people are up at 2:00 in the morning? But
True.
Maybe they would be for this.
True. So your answer to the safety driver problem is to just elevate the screening process.
Yeah.
To make it harder to be a part of.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm imagining the reason why Uber charges more is because of your point, like who's going to be up at those hours. So it is an expensive. The hard costs on it are expensive.
Yeah.
So this either has to be a city play, the hospitality industry play, some nonprofits going after grants for this, which it seems like it would. That's why I kind of like it in the nonprofit realm, because I feel like there's grants and there's just things you can tap into.
Yeah.
So good. And what's the name? Have we done a name yet?
A couple different names I've thought of is Wee Hours.
Okay. Wee Hours. How do you WEHO?
WEEHORUS.
Okay.
Just Wee Hours.
Yeah.
Door to door. But
Door to
that's,
door?
I mean, their door to door seems like that could be so many different things.
Yeah, I like Wee Hours better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other ones?
That's all I have right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I can top Wee Hours. I kind of like that one. It kind of says what it is.
Yeah.
I wonder if like you need to get the word safe in there.
Yeah.
There's something that speaks to what this is really providing.
Safely home.
Safely home. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Have we exhausted all of the categories?
I think so, yeah. I think now we're just down to, monetary. I don't really care. I don't want to.
Yeah, this one's more of an altruism play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. So how do you want to rate it?
I would rate it on a scale of between having a security system like those old-fashioned security systems, that you pull open a window and then it starts blaring and beeping and that kind of stuff, and a Ring doorbell where you see exactly who the person. Let's change it. Let's say it's the difference between a knocker on the door, knock, 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 and a Ring doorbell.
Okay. I think this is a familiar face knocking at the door.
Yeah.
I think that's who this is. This is Nana knocking on the door. Nana makes you feel good at home, safe. Yeah. Like you get a good feeling when Nana knocks on the door, right? That's what I think this is. I think in comparison to Uber or Lyft or a taxi ride, this should have that effect. That when they show up to the door, it makes you feel good. You feel like you're in good hands. You feel like you're about to get home safely.
So should all the drivers have to be driving station wagons, or would that make it more creepy?
I think so. I think
pull up in the paneled station wagon, jump in.
Exactly. But no, good idea. I really do hope somebody takes this and just runs with it because it's a problem that needs to be solved for.
For sure.
So good stuff.
Cool.